It's been over a week since Hamas launched a deadly surprise attack on Israel. The conflict rages on as Israel and Hamas exchange airstrikes, and now Israel appears to be on the brink of a potential ground invasion of Gaza.
The escalated response comes as more than 1 million people in northern Gaza run for their lives to evacuate and get out of harm's way. For more on the rising tensions, here's ABC's chief global affairs correspondent, Martha Raddatz.
They came to kill, firing a barrage of rockets, raiding a music festival, and taking Israelis hostage. An attack so horrific, so inhumane, it echoed the Holocaust. The remnants of the terror still everywhere.
This is where it all began. Heavily armed terrorists coming over from Gaza. They now call this the Road of Death.
The Israeli Defense Forces showing us where the infiltration first began. Cars littered with bullet holes off the side of the road where Hamas ambushed Israelis in their cars and executed them.
Here's the car, one of hundreds of cars. As is, the guy's backpack is still sitting on the car. Hasn't been, I would say, returned to him, but there's no him to return it to. He was slaughtered. Down
that road, a quiet farming community of about 800 people, right on the border with Gaza.
This is where the kill zone.
This is the kill zone begins here as you drive in.
Hamas infiltrating this kibbutz, penetrating fences, swooping in on motorized paragliders.
We're about a mile away from Gaza right now. It's over there. You can see those buildings and a little bit of smoke still coming up from there. And this is the gate where the Hamas terrorists broke through, one of 30 locations where they gained access.
This video from online showing Hamas begin its relentless gunfire, unleashing its brutality on residents, even taking captive the elderly, like this grandmother from the community. Some homes lit on fire to ensure anyone who had survived Hamas's intrusion didn't. Hamas in control here for hours. The community now a ghost town. None of its residents can live there. Mayor Morovia is unsure he, his wife, and 2 kids will ever return.
I can smell the stench of death from everywhere. This is where my kids played. This is where they grew up. They murdered entire families, our friends. They murdered the children, the parents. What they did to the youth neighborhood. You know, I'm hearing all the stories and it's too much. Yes, it's brutal, you know.
Israeli soldiers are now stationed along the fence here with the bodies of some of the Hamas terrorists still littering the ground where they died. This community, this country, forever changed.
It's Israel after Gaza and Israel before Gaza. This is it.
Martha, let's start with this impending ground assault. How are Israeli Defense Forces preparing to carry this out?
Well, you can see tanks lining the road. When we were up there by the border, you can see tanks off into the forest, into the trees, hidden there. But it doesn't take long when you're up there to see these preparations are well underway. You've heard Israeli officials say it will come by land, by sea, by air. Obviously, that's part of it. They want to coordinate all of those elements before they go in. But they have promised the complete destruction of Hamas. Obviously, we've talked about this a lot. The complication there is there are civilians living there, millions of civilians who want to get out of harm's way, who the U.S. is making a huge point. You have to get those civilians out of the way. You have to go by the laws of war.
Martha, the death toll continues to rise on both sides of this conflict as Israel prepares for a possible ground incursion into Gaza. What are the rules of engagement as far as Israel and Gaza are concerned?
The rules of engagement, we don't really know. That's essentially when a soldier goes in and can decide when he can shoot or she can shoot and when they can't. But the laws of war, you can't go shooting civilians. You can't gun down civilians or innocent people, even when you're in the midst of war. And so those are the things they're really concentrating on. Now, the Israelis say they are taking as much care as possible. You just said the death toll. Over 2,300 have already died. It's very very, very difficult from the air to figure this out, and they have had very little time to evacuate there. And of course, there really is nowhere to go. This trip that Antony Blinken has taken has not been very productive. He is trying to get them to open some sort of corridor so people can get out, so aid can get in, but very confusing, as you guys said before.
ABC Chief Global Affairs Correspondent Martha Raddatz, thank you so much.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.